Hey y'all, welcome back to my live broadcast. If you don't know me, I'm Shanta Prince and I help coaches to build personal brands, create high ticket offers, and get paying clients. Today, that's exactly what I want to talk about is what to do when you want to get some new clients, but you haven't had any clients yet, and you're wondering how to build that credibility. One of the biggest things that coaches fear when they're brand new and they're just getting started out is they fear not having the credibility that they need to be able to pull in the kind of clients that they want to attract. And so today I'm going to talk to you about how to build your credibility when you haven't had any clients yet, because it's easy to build credibility when you have clients because your clients attest to your credibility. However, when you're just getting started and you don't have any clients yet, how do you actually build that credibility so that you can actually get people to start paying you and trusting you and believing that you can actually do what you say you can do? So, I'm going to talk about some things that you can do for those of you who are just getting started. Let me just silence my phone really quickly. So, for those of you who are just getting started, I'll give you some tips that you can use today to actually start boosting your credibility to draw in those clients. And so, first of all, if you hear any howling, that is because I have a new puppy. And for those of you who are in the Facebook group, you saw my new puppy a few days ago. So, I have a new puppy. And as a matter of fact, the reason why I'm starting late today is because I had to take him to the vet. So, he's in his crate and he is being house trained. So, he's in his crate right now and he is not happy about that. So he actually howls like a little wolf. So if you hear howling, don't be alarmed. That's just my new puppy letting me know that he is dissatisfied with his current conditions. So when it comes to getting clients, it's so important to have that credibility. And I will tell you that it's hard to get clients outside of people who don't already know you if you don't have that credibility. Now, of course, people who know you, if they know that you can actually do the things you say you can do and they trust you already, then by all means, it's going to be easier to attract people out of that pool, attract clients out of that pool of people who already know you. However, I hope you understand that as an entrepreneur, you cannot depend on the people who already know you to build a business. You have to constantly, continuously bring new people into your atmosphere so that you can attract new clients. And so, one of the biggest struggles that I see people dealing with is they are trying to get clients, but they're not growing their audience. So if you're always bringing new people into your audience, you're always going to have a constant flow of new potential clients that are connecting with you on a regular basis. So when you have new people coming into your atmosphere, they're joining your Facebook group, they're joining your email list, they're watching your videos, then if you have those things, and if you don't have those things, you should. So not all of those things, but you got to figure out what works for you. But you should have a place to gather your audience, and whether that's a Facebook group or an email list or however you decide to gather your audience, you definitely need a place to gather your audience, and then you need to grow that audience. So if you have a consistent flow of new people coming into your atmosphere, then they have to know you too, right? Other than the people who already know you. You already have credibility. You've already established yourself with the people who already know you. But for the people who don't, they want to see some type of credibility. And I'm going to explain a few different ways that you can do that. Now, I don't want you to think you have to go out and write 80 blog posts and get a website up overnight and do 1,000 videos. That is not that is a part of it, but those things you do those things over time. So don't feel overwhelmed about it. Those are things that will come over time. However, when you want to get clients right now and you haven't had any clients yet, one thing that you can do to boost your credibility with them is you could host some kind of event. I was just encouraging somebody a couple of weeks ago to go ahead and host an event, invite people to an event, which I call a conversion event. And I talk to my clients about this all the time. A conversion event is an event that you invite people to, and you basically take some time to teach them something amazing. And then you pitch your offer or your program to them, giving them an opportunity to join you in your program. And so, inviting them to an event, if you're teaching, that gives them the opportunity to see what you can do, and that boosts your credibility. So, when people say things like, oh, you can do that, these ads, I see them all the time on Facebook. These ads that say, "Oh, you can do this. That you don't need an email list to be able to do this, and you don't need an email list to be able to do that." Ask that person, do they have an email list? I guarantee you they have an email they have an email list. However, here's the thing. You don't need an email list to get started with those things because you build your email list as you go. And here's what I mean by that. If I'm hosting my brand in demand boot camp that I do, you may have seen that workshop done a few times by me before. It is my brand in demand boot camp. And so let's say I was starting to offer this free 5-day workshop called the Brand in Demand Boot Camp, which I do offer it. And if I'm offering this free boot camp, that is a conversion event. And if you sign up for that event, then you're joining my email list. And so that is why when people say, oh, you don't need an email list to do this, but you do need an email list if you want to build a sustainable business. Okay. I don't recommend anybody build a business without having an email list. However, you don't need that in order to get started, but you do need to have an email list to sustain your business. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. So a conversion event is you collect those email addresses, and I do encourage that as well. If you're having a conversion event, collect those email addresses, because after that, you're going to need to be able to send them what's called a sales sequence or a follow-up sequence. Your follow-up sequence will close sales for you outside of the event. So if you're hosting this event, people are hanging out with you live, and then after that event, you want to send a follow-up sequence, which is a sales sequence, and you may be able to close sales right from your emails. That's why you want to collect email addresses when you're hosting these types of events. A conversion event gives people an opportunity to see who you are, understand what kind of value you bring, and it gives them an opportunity to decide if they want to work with you, if they're going to be a good fit for your program. And so that is one way to boost your credibility, okay? Your expertise is going to come out in that event. It's going to come out in your teaching, and you're going to serve your heart out. And some of those people are going to say, oh my gosh, I want to work with her, or I want to work with him. Okay. So a conversion event is one way to boost your credibility when you haven't had any clients yet. It's a great way to boost your credibility, even if you do have clients. But I'm just saying this for those of you who are just getting started and you're ready to start taking clients, but you're like, how do I build my credibility? First of all, after you start with people that you already know, because you probably have about 4 or 5 clients who are already connected to you already. They're connected to you on LinkedIn. They're connected to you on Facebook. They're already one of your Facebook friends. So your first clients are going to come from people who you already know. Okay. So I'm talking about outside of that. When you get ready to break through and expand outside of the circle that you already have, you're going to need to have that credibility so that the people who are coming into your atmosphere can start to trust you and understand what you offer. Okay. So number one, doing a conversion event that allows you to teach and show your expertise. And when some of those people see how amazing you are, they're going to be very interested in joining your program. So the other thing that you can do to boost your credibility when you haven't had any clients yet is you can gather testimonials. And sometimes when we think of testimonials, we think of like people who have paid us, big projects that we've done. And it really doesn't take all of that to get a testimonial from someone who says that you know your stuff and that you're amazing at what it is that you do. 9 times out of 10, those of us who are in the coaching or mentor or consulting space, we probably have done what we're doing now for free for somebody else. So testimonials, you can go back and get testimonials from people who you've worked with before. Okay. Hey, Kay. So you can go back and get testimonials from people who you have worked with in the past, and ask them, hey, can you do a quick testimonial on this so and so project that I did for you, or on this session that I did for you? People are, believe it or not, people are glad to write you a testimonial. If you did get good work, which I know you did, they're happy to write you a testimonial to say that, hey, my experience with Kay was wonderful. She's really awesome. And if you're considering working with her, I think you should go ahead and do it, right? Those testimonials make a huge difference, but you don't put yourself in a box and think, oh my gosh, I don't have anybody who has paid me yet, so I can't get testimonials. Go back to the people that you've done things for free, which most of us have, and ask them to write you a testimonial. Even if you had clients in the past, but you don't have any clients right now, go back to some of those past clients and ask them to write a testimonial. If you don't have any testimonial, I'll give you a quick tip on how to get some, okay? A great way to get testimonials is to offer someone a discounted service in exchange for their testimonial. And I say discounted because I don't believe that anybody should be working for free. Even if you're new, like when you start a job, Even if you're new to that job, you still get paid. So don't discredit yourself and think, well, I can't get paid because I'm new. You absolutely can get paid and you should get paid. And so I say discounted services because a discounted service in exchange for a testimonial gives you a few opportunities. Number one, it's going to give you an opportunity to test the waters to see if this is a service that people actually want. So when you're testing the waters and you're doing a little market research, if someone takes you up on an offer, that means that, okay, this is something that people are actually looking for. So you get the opportunity to test the waters and serve someone at a discounted rate in exchange for that testimonial. Okay. So you get to find out, is this product something that people want? The other thing that you get to do when you're at serving someone at a discounted rate is you get the opportunity to perfect it. When you get ready to put that thing at full price, you can work with that person at the discounted service and see where the gaps are, and then when you launch it again, you have the opportunity to fill in those gaps, smooth that thing out, and launch it in an even better version. I know you may have heard this before. Somebody said that the second version is always better than the first, right? So your first version is going to be what it is, but that second version, after you work with people, is going to be even better. So you get to improve your product, you get to test the waters, and then you get to work closely with someone to find out what they need more of. So, for example, when I work with clients, I started to realize, wait a minute, okay, people love to coach, they love to mentor, they love to teach, but the struggle is in putting together offers. That happens to be one of my gifts. I love to put together a coaching offer. When I work with my clients, within a couple of hours, we go from literally from idea to offer. We start with an idea that they have, and I meet with them and I help them to design a complete offer by the time we're done with that session. So they walk away with an offer that they can go and sell. And so I started to realize, okay, people are so amazing. They have all of these awesome gifts, but they don't know how to package it into a sellable offer. Okay. And then that's where I come in, right? I help them to package it into a sellable offer. And then I teach them how to sell it in different ways. Okay. So think about something that you can do for people, or something that you can, an event that you can put on for people so that people can see you shine. So people can see your expertise and they can identify you as a person who has a solution to their problem. Okay. So for me, I like to do workshops. I like to teach. So that is my jam. I can do a workshop like really at with a few minutes notice. That is just how easy this comes to me because it's my gift. Now you have something that comes really easy to you, right? You have that thing that you do that nobody can do it the way you do it, and that is the truth, right? So think about that thing that comes to you that you can do in your sleep that other people struggle with. And I always say this because it's so easy to underestimate the power of what you can do. It's easy to underestimate your gifts because it's so easy to you. Right? I remember talking to someone, and I was asking her, I said, "Well, why are your prices so low with this?" And she was like, "Oh, because it's so easy for me." And I'm like, "That's why you should charge more money because this thing comes easy to you. This is your gift. You should charge more money for this, you know?" So don't discredit those things that come so easy to you that other people are struggling with, because some people may look at you and say, "Oh my gosh, you just did that so fast. It's taken me 3 years to figure this thing out, and you just helped me do it in a couple of minutes." Right? So think about those things that you do that you see other people struggling with. What kind of event could you put on to boost your credibility, to give people the opportunity to see you, get to know you, like you, and trust you, so that they're willing and able so that they become willing and able to invest with you. Now, I'm not saying that you have to do these events. I have a client who is crushing it and she does not launch. She uses Clubhouse, and then people get in her DMs and she closes her sales in the direct messages. So I'm not saying you have to do these events. However, I do highly recommend them because they're powerful for building your personal brand, and they're great for picking up new clients. Okay. So number one, we talked about doing that conversion event to boost your credibility when you haven't had any clients yet. You can also take go back to some people who you've already worked with and ask them for a testimonial. Testimonials give people the opportunity to kind of see what it is that you do. And the reason why I say see is because when we go to the store, we can pick things up. Like I picked up things off of the rack and put it back on the rack because I didn't like the fabric, right? But if I had seen it online, I probably would buy it because I'm not able to actually see it and touch it and feel it and see, is this something that I'm actually going to like? Testimonials are testimonials do that for your potential clients. They're not able to literally pick you up off the rack and check you out. So testimonials do the same thing for your potential clients. So testimonials can make a huge difference for boosting your credibility. Okay. Now, the third thing you can do to boost your credibility when you haven't had any clients yet, you could do the kind of consultation calls where you actually help them solve, you give your ideal clients, your potential clients, a quick win on the call, and then you offer them your program. Here's what I mean by that. Now, sometimes you'll be able to close a sale by just getting on the phone with that person one time, okay? And sometimes that call can be 15 minutes, it may be 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, at the most 30 minutes. If you're giving a strategy, if you're doing like a legit strategy session before you offer your program, it may take longer. It could take up to 45 minutes. It can take an hour. And that is where you are assessing where that person is now based on what it is that you do. And then you give them a quick win, and then you offer them your program and talk about how you can even help them to obtain that quick accomplishment that you just talked about and go even beyond that. So an example of that could be like, for me, if I wanted to do a longer consultation call, let's say I just met somebody and they don't really know me yet, and they just joined my Facebook group and they don't really know me yet. So if I wanted to do a longer consultation call with this person, what I could do is I could get on the on the call, and I could take about 20 to 30 minutes assessing where this person is right now. And I could say, okay, Kay, based on where you are right now, I would recommend that you host a conversion event within the next 3 weeks. And I can actually show you how to set that up. But here are some ideas that you could talk about for your conversion event. You could talk about A, B, C, and D. And in that conversion event, so I'm basically giving that person a really quick win, and I'm not going into deep detail. I'm giving them a quick win to help them to see where they can go, as you know, with some type of strategy or something that they can use or go implement right away. And then I would offer them my program. So the fact that I'm able to assess where they are in a way that is excellent and it's intelligent and it's strategic, right? That gives them an opportunity to say, oh my gosh, that sounds great and it sounds perfect for me. That is another opportunity to build that rapport and to show my expertise. Okay. Now, I wouldn't say that you should be doing these kinds of calls all the time because they can be very exhausting. I'm talking about if you're just getting started, or if you've already been coaching or mentoring for a while and you're meeting people who don't know you yet. These kinds of calls could be really great for boosting your credibility because they get that opportunity to see your expertise. So if you do something like you help people with their finances, and maybe your call will look something like, okay, I'm going to give you a quick strategy to save $1,000 over the next 6 months, right? I'm just making this up as I go along, but you get the point. So if you say, okay, I'm going to give you a quick strategy on this call to show you how you can save $1,000 over the next 6 months, and then we'll talk about opportunities for us to work together. Okay, so you're doing that strategy, but then you're rolling into making your program offer. Okay, so that's another way that you can boost your credibility when you haven't had any clients yet. So all of these things that I'm talking about are ways that people can actually see. Remember when I said no one can like physically pick you up from the rack and check you out, right? Like how we do in the store. But there are some things that you can do to help them to see your expertise and understand that you can actually solve their problem. None of us are out here paying people who can't solve our problems, right? So when people are paying you, they're actually paying you to solve the problem. And sometimes we get so caught up in selling the actual product or the program that we forget, okay, what they really want, they want a solution to their problem. And when you use these opportunities that I'm talking about to show that you actually can solve their problems, then that is enough to build that credibility that you're looking for. Now, there are so many different ways that you can go out here and get clients. And there are a few specific ways that I teach my clients how to go and get clients. So the things that I'm talking about, you're always going to have those clients who kind of come out of nowhere and they'll join your program and you'll be like, wow, that seems so random. I actually had a client to join my program. She just popped into a video that I was talking about, and while I was talking, she joined my program, and that was an example of like it was unexpected. And so I'm saying that to say that you're always going to have clients that are going to come from different ways, and some of those ways may be unexpected. However, when you're building a business and you're in business for the long game, you want to think about how you can repeat that and how you can bring in clients on a consistent basis, not just clients coming up from like some type of random act, right? Because that when it's random, it's unpredictable. And you actually can predict your income as a coach or mentor or consultant. You actually can set your income goals and meet those income goals. And so when you're looking at building for the long game, the random clients that come in, that's great, right? But you want to find a way to bring in clients on a consistent basis. And these things are going to help you to be able to put those things in place so that you can have the credibility, right? Especially for those of you who are selling high ticket. When you're selling high ticket programs, then your credibility is going to be key in bringing those clients. And when I say credibility, I don't mean it has to be complicated. Don't think you have to have this whole entire complicated thing going on, because you do not. A simple lesson, a simple video, a simple teaching, a simple testimonial from someone who you've worked with in the past, and it doesn't take a lot to get started. So if in your mind you're feeling overwhelmed, or you're thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to do all this? Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overthink it. Just go get that testimonial and figure out what type of event that you can teach that lines up with your offer, right? You don't want to teach something totally different. Like, for example, I was just talking to my photographer, and I was telling her how, like, I have two different businesses that don't really have a lot to do with each other. So I have a barbecue rub that I sell online. It started out as a recipe. I turned it into a retail product. And so I sell this barbecue rub online. And then I teach coaches how to build their brands and how to create their high ticket offers and how to get paying clients. Those two things don't really have a whole lot, they don't have a whole lot to do with each other. And so one of the things is, I was telling her, I'm like, well, there are two different things, because we were talking about, like, my pictures and things like that, and I was talking about those two different businesses. So if I want to um, bring someone into my coaching program, I'm not going to be teaching them how to create a retail product, right? Because that's not what I'm trying to draw in. So my event for my coaching to bring new coaching clients in, it's not going to be, okay, here's how if you have a seasoning or if you have a food product, here's how you turn it into or a recipe, here's how you turn it into a product, right? That's not what I'm going to be teaching about. I want to teach about something that's going to line up with my program. And so I always talk about the example of how when I go to get samples, as a matter of fact, okay, so last last weekend, my family and we were hanging out in Savannah. And so we always go to River Street. Like, we do the exact same thing. We go to River Street, we buy candy. And even though we've been to the candy shop on River Street so many times, we always get the samples when we go in, right? So we walk in the door, we get the samples. But this time they had samples on the way out. They had a different sample coming on the way out. And so the thing is, like, when I go in there and I get that sample, it's like, oh my goodness, this is so delicious. So they're drawing me in, right? So if I like the sample, that sample lines up with exactly what they sell in the store. So if I like the sample, I taste the sample and I walk in the door because I want to buy that thing, right? Would it make sense for them to give me a sample of something that they do not have in the store? That wouldn't make sense, right? Like, why would you have a sample of something that you don't even sell? Okay. So what you want to think about is, what can you use to give people a sample of your expertise, a sample of your personality that lines up with what you offer? Okay. Because you want those things to be in alignment, because what's going to happen is, if you're offering something that is not lined up with your offer, you're going to have a really hard time selling that offer, because you're drawing in people. The thing is, if someone takes you up on your free offer, then they will be interested. You want to make sure they will also be interested in your paid offer. So for example, when I go, like, I get emails from certain places that I shop at, And so a lot of times the emails will say something like, you will love this. And a lot of times those emails are absolutely right because they know that I would love it based on something that I've already purchased. Based on a previous action that I've taken with this company, they know that I would love this other item that they have. And so, for example, when I went to the candy store, they know, okay, if she loves this sample, she's going to love this thing that we sell in our store, and she's also going to love a lot of the other things that we offer inside of the store. That's the mindset that you want to be in if you're going to do the first one that we talked about, which is a conversion event, which I recommend for everybody. And I could be a little biased because I love teaching. I love these types of events. But I also think that it's fair as a coach or mentor to give people the opportunity to see how you operate, to see how you are, to see how you deliver, right? So it's the same way with you. Like when you work with somebody, don't you want to get to know them first before you invest? Don't you want to see how they deliver? Don't you want to see if you could even follow their teaching styles? Not every person has the same teaching style. My husband has a mentor right now, and she has a different teaching style than my teaching style, right? And I used to work with this coach in a different capacity, but now he works with her. And before he started working with her, I told him, I said, she does not teach like everybody else. The way that she teaches, you got to kind of catch what she's saying. And she doesn't go into detail with things. Like you have to catch what she's saying. She gives amazing knowledge, but you have to listen a little bit differently with her because she's not going to hold your hand and tell you, okay, the first thing that you need to do, the second thing that you need to do, the third thing that you need to do. She's just going to tell you, she'll tell you, go bake a cake and then go and sell that cake, right? And that's how you can make money. So for me, I'm the kind of teacher, I'm going to say, okay, go bake a cake. But the first thing you got to do to bake this cake is you got to get all of the ingredients. Here are the ingredients that you need to bake this cake, right? Her style is go bake the cake and then go sell it. That's how you're going to make money. So it's up to you to go figure out how to bake this cake, right? But her information is still amazing, but her teaching style is just a little bit different. So not everybody has the same teaching style. Your ideal clients are going to see how you teach, how you deliver, and they're going to understand your mindset with things. And if your mindset and how you think lines up with where they want to go, or it lines up with what they're trying to accomplish, they're going to be interested in your program. However, you're going to have some clients that don't like your teachings, potential clients who don't like your teaching style. And that is perfectly okay too, because for me, I don't want to work with anybody who I'm not called to. I don't want any clients who I'm not called to serve. So if someone does not like my style, that's perfectly okay because that lets me know this is not my ideal client. I'm looking for the ones who are. Because let me tell you, you do not want to get into a coaching or mentorship relationship with someone who doesn't like you, who is uncoachable by you. It is a nightmare. So it's better for people to, if they're able to identify you as someone who is not a good mentor or not a good coach for them, that is perfectly okay. And you should celebrate that. Because listen, don't we all want to be happy when we're growing our businesses, when we're getting up to work with clients? I've been in places where I would go to work with clients and I would be dreading it, like, oh my gosh, I have to work with this person today. Now I'm in a place where I absolutely enjoy getting on with my clients. I meet with my clients every Tuesday night and I enjoy it because I like who I work with. I like my people, right? There are some coaches who don't like their people. And I know that, look, I chuckle a little bit when I say that, but it's absolutely true. Not everybody likes their people, right? And so you want to work with people who actually like you. They like your teaching style. They like what you stand for. And the way that they get to identify that thing is by you putting forth those opportunities to boost your credibility and give people the chance to connect with you and to get to know you. Okay. So if you're interested in starting a coaching or mentorship program and you're not quite sure where to get started, feel free to send me a message. You can message me on Facebook. You can message me on LinkedIn or Instagram, any platform where you see me at, you can send me a message. I am always in the messages. That's how I communicate with my audience mostly, is through messages. So don't be shy to send me a message and say, hey, I'm working on this, or so let me know if you're interested in starting a program, or if you're not sure and you're not sure where to start, or if you already have a program but you're having trouble selling that program. send me a message so we can talk about some opportunities that I have available for you. And also, I may be able to give you a few quick tips and strategies. Okay. All right. So message me on Facebook or LinkedIn. If you're watching me from YouTube right now, you can just send me an email. You can come over to Facebook and send me a message, or you can just send me a quick email at info@shantaprince.com. All right, y'all. This has been awesome. Thank y'all for hanging out. Thank you for those of you who share. Some of y'all are sharing my videos everywhere, and I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. So thank you for those of you who are hanging out. Thank you to my replay viewers. Thank you to my live viewers. And I will see y'all back here next Thursday at the same time in the same place. Y'all have a great one. I'll be seeing you again soon.